Hi everyone, for today's mini documentary I want to introduce you to the Alert, a small Australian coastal steamship. We will look at its brief life, its tragic fate, and also how a big fluffy Newfoundland dog named Victor Hugo was able to save a life. So, let's dive in. The Alert was built and completed in 1877 by Robert Duncan and Company in the port of Glasgow, and the ship was built for the Australian ship owners Huddart Parker. It had a long, turbulent voyage to Australia, but it would eventually reach Melbourne and enter service in 1878. For its designated trade, it was more than adequate, although by ocean liner standards this ship would appear small. The Alert weighed 243 tons, was 169 feet or 52 meters long, had a beam of 16 feet or 5.9 meters, and had one propeller which was powered by a Rankine and Blackmore compound steam engine. The Alert had a long, distinctive profile. It was based on the design of a previous ship called the Dispatch. Both ships seemed to be adequate enough in their service that a third ship, the Excelsior, was built to a refined but largely similar design. Alert had two funnels for most of its career, but in early 1893 it was modified and those two funnels became one rather large funnel. In the profiles that I've shown you, the Alert has two funnel colors, either all black or all buff. Its owners, Huddart Parker, had all buff funnels. However, from all the black and white photos that I could see, the funnel doesn't look white, it looks dark. And then the single visual reference that I could find of the Alert had this ship with all black funnels. So I have tried to depict the ship in both circumstances, and should anyone know definitively with proof that the Alert had either all black or all buff funnels, I would love to know. So hence this is why you have the slightly different colors in these reconstructions that I show you in this documentary. So, back to the Alert. On the 28th of December 1893, it was overcome by a storm, and the ship rolled over and sank. There was one survivor, the ship's chef, Robert Ponting. He clung on to some wreckage and was washed ashore on a beach the following day. While on the beach, his body was discovered by several women taking a stroll, and they alerted other individuals that were on the beach, and one of them was a gentleman that had a great big dog by the name of Victor Hugo. There you can see a reconstruction of both Robert Ponting and his saviour. The owner of Victor Hugo encouraged him to cuddle up and be a good boy and snuggle next to the almost dead Robert Ponting. And so the combination of the dog's friendliness and his heat, together with another doctor who happened to be in the vicinity, who ran and started to give Robert Ponting whiskey and exercise his limbs, a combination of all that was able to resuscitate Mr. Ponting, and he made a full recovery. Robert Ponting was the only survivor of the 16 people who were on board. A court of inquiry couldn't determine what the reason was for the loss of the Alert, rather that it was just simply bad luck and a very strong storm. Although there were arguments that the ship's long profile may have contributed to its inability to handle certain sea conditions. The wreck of the Alert has been found, and unfortunately and cruelly, it has also been robbed of many historical artifacts. I sincerely hope that those divers have a change of conscience and return those artifacts to the authorities, and if not, may they suffer the consequences. But the wreck has been discovered. The lower hull is still visible, so is the engine. It's relatively intact. The alert represented a type of coastal trade that is no longer around, and even the shipping company no longer exists. However, if you are interested in learning more about the ship's company and about the trade, may I recommend Hudat Parker, which is a complete company and ship history, and more about the region and the ships there with some color illustrations. May I recommend the beautiful and very well illustrated Down the Bay by T.K. Fitchett. I am sure that Victor Hugo got many treats as a result of his If there
actions.
are any other obscure ships that you want to learn more about, or you are interested in discovering, please let me know. I'd love to research and learn more, because there are just so many obscure ships with interesting careers and fates that deserve to be highlighted. So let me know.